60 calories, kids. Woo! Beginning of the hour. If you're just joining us, my name is Sharon Faich and you're watching QVC Plus, and we are live right now. Sometimes as a sister channel to QVC, we show highlights from earlier in the day or earlier in the week. But there are other times where we are completely live, as is the case right now. So I want you to take a look at your screen. This is called the sitNcycle. We've been chatting about it for almost 40 minutes, but we've got 20 minutes left to go about how this can make such a big difference in your life because it's small, it's easy, it's quiet, it doesn't plug in, it's fabulous to use. And it can start with any beginner, whether you're 16 or 18 years old or whether you're 90 years old. It can start with a beginner, but of course with any exercise program, you always want to check with your doctor to make sure it's going to be working with you in whatever your situation is. But I think this is so incredibly cool because honestly, this is my first time on this machine and I have been on it. I was just looking at here, it was over 36 minutes total because I've gotten off of this machine a couple of times to talk about the colors that are available. And when you've turned up the resistance, and by the way, this is Carrie Whiteman, and she has been a fitness instructor for over 20 years, but she is a busy mom. So as a busy mom, you know the importance of trying to find time for exercise. But I think often in our modern era, we have a lot of excuses. We have a lot of excuses, and many of them are well-founded. However, if we have this in our homes, we don't have excuses anymore.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as a busy mom, I put myself last. All I want to do is make sure my daughter is getting to whatever she needs to, doing her homework, getting dinner ready.
Making lunches for school.
Exactly, getting breakfast ready, and also working full time. So the idea of active sitting, everybody, which is what we did here. We took sitNcycle and we made it even better, progression, and now we have the sitNcycle Elite. So the sitNcycle Elite is this LCD tracker that has been creatively brought right into the front of the bike. Now you can see all you have to do is just flip it down and voila. You have your time, your calories, your distance, and your speed, which is really gonna help what? It's gonna help motivate you. Because I tell you, when you see 50 calories being burned in 4 minutes, you're gonna say to yourself, wow, that feels pretty good when I had dessert last night.
Right,
and
exactly.
I need to get rid of that. And all of a sudden when you say, you know what, I haven't exercised in months. I just did 5 minutes. 5 minutes, this is pretty good. I can start with that and build into something else.
Yeah, being able to track it is incredible because it is very empowering.
Yes.
It's like the idea of having a little tiny quiet personal trainer at the ready down here to let you know how long you've been working and you think, can I push this just a little bit more or should I increase the resistance? And before we get back into the resistance, because if you weren't here in the first half of the program, we talked about how adjustable this is with the simple turn of a dial. What I do want to talk about for a second is when I get the box at home, what do I expect and is there a lot of assembly?
Sure, so when you get this at home, please take it out, everybody, and all you have to do.
Don't leave it sitting in the box, because that does happen with people sometimes.
It's so true, especially the big boxes. It looks overwhelming. So you have the big pieces, and that's it. Tools are included. QVC.com, you can go to the 800 number you can call. We are here for you. The seat, you have the main part of the bike, and then the base and the pedals to put together. So the tools are included, and that's it. It takes me about 30 minutes to put these items together.
Okay.
And I'm not a handy woman. So I would definitely say, if you have any questions, just call the 800 number.
Okay. Then when we put it together, it sounds easy, 4 basic parts and we're ready to go. You get on the bike and we start at level 1. And level 1 is very intuitive. You get on, it's this wonderful, and by the way, have you heard any of us pedaling? There's 3 of us in the studio right now that are pedaling. Actually, there's 4 of us. We got somebody off to the side who's not on camera who is pedaling.
I love it.
I love the fact that it's so quiet, whether people are sleeping, whether you have babies that are napping, you don't want to wake anybody up and you can't sleep. You can do this and nobody will hear it.
Nobody's gonna hear it. And now Sharon's at level 1. I'm gonna bring myself all the way up because we have it looking at level 8.
So 8 is the highest?
8 is the highest, levels 1 through 8. So level 8, and when I turn the sitNcycle, which is on wheels, made purposely so you can roll it in and out of any room in your home, and I sit down on this super comfortable seat, supports up to 300 pounds, and you can adjust it from 4'11 to 6'4", so a great way for you to incorporate this for the whole family. And I'm gonna take a seat, put my feet on the non-slip pedals, and at level 8, you can see, it does slow you down. So this is why we made the resistance increase, so you can actually feel a visible change. Visibly, you can see I am pressing this down, but it's part of what my muscles already know. They know how to move forward, and they do know how to cycle. So then the idea of this is, okay, let me do this for say 20 seconds, everybody, maybe 30 seconds, or maybe 10 seconds. And then, because this is hands-free, very easy for me to slide off the seat, drop the resistance all the way down to level 1, pop back up on the seat, put my feet on the pedals, and then voila! It's like I'm like cycling downhill, like going whee! It's wonderful.
It's awesome. It's an exhilarating feeling, and that's what I like about it, is that it is adjustable. And it can grow with you. You know, Carrie and I were talking about this earlier. If you haven't exercised in a really long time, you don't have to feel overwhelmed, like, you know, you're gonna go home and all of a sudden you're gonna be doing the Tour de France. Like, that's not what this is about. It's about, if all you can do is 3 minutes on that first day, fabulous. Maybe you'll be able to do 4 minutes the next day. Or maybe you won't get to 4 minutes till the end of the week. That is okay, but you're on it, you're doing it, you can track your distance, you can track your calories, you can track how long you've been doing it. And that is amazing. You can keep a little log, because when you write this down, maybe at the end of the day, and you're seeing how you've done, the progressions you've made over the past week, it's very, very empowering, and you did not have to drive to a gym. If you're too intimidated to talk to a fitness professional, like a fitness trainer, a personal trainer, you don't have to. You have become your own personal trainer, and you're in charge of your own exercise destiny and your own future, in a way. Not to sound too grandiose, but there's something very empowering about that.
Very empowering, and that's the idea of why this is hands-free, because you can use your tablet, you can use your phone. We were just showing Mary on her phone, and you have a notebook in your phone, and that's where you can actually put in the data. Okay, I did 10 minutes today, and you put it right in your phone, as then you're texting your friend or your family member, and then the next day you can put it right in your notebook on your phone again, and if you're using your tablet, you have the ability to do that as well. Or you can write it down. If this is your time where you're gonna say, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna just read one of my favorite authors, and I'm gonna dedicate this time because this has been very easy for me. I've realized the first 5 minutes of the first week I've had the sitNcycle Elite that I really can actually multitask. We're not kidding. It really is super comfortable. We're not kidding. At level 1, you barely feel like you're doing anything. It is a wonderful place to start for someone who doesn't exercise and knows they need to, because the doctor said, this is that year we need to really work on this.
Right.
Or your family is saying, you know what, we all should probably start moving a little bit more. We recognize we're not doing enough, so let's start doing this together.
Right.
And that's the idea for all of us to just, you know what, take the time. You just sit on this, you take turns. Commercials, everybody. Another great idea is when those commercials come, you just change the seat. Someone does it during the commercials.
Nice.
And then you go and back on the couch. And then the next commercial, someone else gets on that bike.
Right.
And then it becomes a fun experience for the family.
And you know what? If you don't have people at home while you're doing that, when you were talking about the commercials, if you're alone, that's when you get off and you bump up your resistance.
Yes.
While the commercials are on, you get that little burst, and then you can switch back when the commercials are over, and then you feel like you're cycling downhill again, and you have that amazing experience. But you know what? Your price is $169.98. How much do you spend if you have a gym membership? And believe me, I'm not trying to say that gyms are awful. I just know that they're not for everybody. They're wonderful if you're motivated to go. They're wonderful if you want to get there, but sometimes the weather is bad. Sometimes you're just too busy, and when you're just too busy, you don't do it. And so here, when you're just too busy, you've got that 15 minutes, you get on the sitNcycle, you're there, you're either in front of your computer, maybe doing some of those last emails for work because you've got one of those half a days off and you happen to be at home, or maybe you're just doing other things. Maybe you are catching up. Maybe you've been working all week long like crazy, and you're trying to catch up on your favorite TV show, but you don't want to be lazy about it. So you're watching your TV show, you're getting your exercise in, you can be on your phone. You know what my dad likes to do? He does religiously crossword puzzles every single morning because he's trying to keep his brain
Yeah.
fresh and up and ready to go. He could be sitting there with his crossword puzzles here doing the whole thing while he's actively sitting instead of slouchy, like laying sitting on a couch. And that active sitting, for those who weren't here earlier, Carrie, can you explain the difference between sitting and active sitting again?
Absolutely. So sitNcycle was created because of active sitting. What I mean by that is right now this is hands-free. You see no bars on us. And all we're doing is sitting, but we're moving our legs on the sitNcycle. And just by moving your legs as you're sitting, that is active sitting. So the difference is you would be sitting in a chair at your desk, on the couch watching TV, at a chair at your dining room or kitchen table, and you're doing nothing other than sitting, because we're a sitting society, everybody.
Right, we've become a sitting society.
Yes, we have, and that's important to say. We have become. So they do say that sitting is the new smoking. And you know, we need to reverse this pattern, and this is a way for us to do that with something like the sitNcycle Elite. So you feel your stomach muscles engaged, and that's because it's hands-free. Those stomach muscles will help improve your posture, also your lower back. When I look at Sharon, I see her upright, and that's automatically happening because it's hands-free. I see her stomach engaged. She's not doing one crunch yet. Her stomach muscles are working. She's not doing anything else to help support her lower back other than the fact that this bike puts you upright. And look at her beautiful posture. The posture
makes it easy.
It lifts you up. So naturally, when you get off of this, you're gonna feel yourself standing up even more.
A little taller,
A little taller, exactly. And like I said, my mother has been on my case my whole life. Stand up taller.
Sit up straight.
You know, exactly. Well, now I can, because you know what? Well, I'm not only standing up taller or standing up straight, I'm sitting up more straight.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. It almost, so that way when you are really sitting down for relaxation, you may find that you're actually sitting a little differently. You're gonna notice more when you start to slouch a little bit forward or you slouch a little bit back this way. Our bodies wanna be straight. They wanna be tall, but I think just through the course of evolution in our society over the past 30 or 40 years, our lives have just changed. We are hunched over computers all day long, whether it's because of our job or because to do just about anything else you want to do at home, you're looking up stuff on the computer. But I'm taking a look at Ms. Mary back here. Did you add a few things to your honey-do list? The poor guy. She just added several things, and notice how she's pedaling backwards.
Yes.
So I just want to tell you real quick what we're looking at the resistance. Your colors are cobalt blue, gray, purple, and red. I'll show them to you again in a minute, but the fact that this is the most updated version, this is the Elite. Should we do a calorie count?
Yes, we should.
All right, we're gonna check out all our calories. It cycles through all the different pieces of information. So I have burned 356 calories, ladies. How much have you burned?
That's incredible.
Oh, she's ahead
I'm
of me.
at 295.
That's
but
all
I
right.
have to keep getting off to demonstrate this bike. But I want you
We're
to
not
also
competitive.
Not at all. Not at all. It becomes that way too. It's so funny. You mentioned something I wanted to go back to because you mentioned how your father.
Yeah.
He does the crossword puzzles and he does them every day religiously to work his mind.
Yep.
Complementing that with him moving. And Dad, hopefully you're watching right now.
He might be. He's in Florida right now. My dad is pretty healthy. He kayaks. He does a lot of stuff. But that is dependent on weather.
Yes, it is. And it's also dependent on mood.
Yes.
And you know, at times you just feel like saying, I just want to just, you know, hang out.
Right.
And this is a wonderful way, just like my mother does crossword puzzles as well. And if she just did this, maybe 2 to 3 days a week with her crossword puzzles, this doesn't have to be every day, even though it's very easy for you to do 5 minutes, say Monday and Friday, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you do the crossword puzzle, and before you know it, you're almost doing the whole thing on your sitNcycle. So to incorporate that, and especially just looking at this seat has super duper padding to it. It makes it so comfortable. Look at me pressing into this, but it really is, everybody. I mean, it's more, when you get the seat and sit on it, you're gonna say, oh my gosh, this is more comfortable than Carrie even said.
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at my stats because I've gotten up a couple times too. I've been sitting on this for 51 minutes. of the past hour. And if it were not comfortable, I'd be finding excuses to get up and go somewhere else, but I'm perfectly fine.
Right. Very valid point. So this rolls in and out of any home, I mean any room or any home actually. You could bring this on vacation.
Sure, if you have a van and you're going somewhere, why not?
You have the non-slip pedals. You have the LCD tracker, which is new to the sitNcycle Elite, and that's also, it's going to